Well, hello guys, I hope you guys are doing alright. In this video I'm gonna show you how to make a biome in Unreal Engine using the procedurally generated meshes, or like the landscape from Fetus' videos. So assuming that you guys already went through the whole series, I'm gonna show you first how the thing is looking. So this will kind of be your biomes, right? White could be grass and black could be like sand, whichever you want. You're gonna have this type of setup for your biomes. So the way I'm doing this is by using a material that changes depending on vertex colors, right? So what is vertex colors? Well, as you guys remember, in this node right here that we made for create mesh section from Peter's video, we had all these values except vertex colors. Vertex colors basically is grabbing points from a noise map, and depending on which one is higher or not, it sets the material for that place. So let's walk over the material, right? So to make this more simple, because I have all of this stuff for my materials like the grass and this ground for a forest, right? I'm gonna make this simple by using two vector grids. So a constant 3 vector. You make it like that, and then just double click and set up the color you want to try it out. Kind of visualize. You're gonna do this. You guys are gonna use a lerp, so A and B, and how it works is that depending on the value of the alpha, the base color could be either this one or this one. So for instance, right, alpha 1.0 is gonna give you white color, and alpha 0 is gonna give you the black color. If you put something in between, it's gonna give you an in between of those two colors. And that is how we're gonna make the blend of our biomes using the vertex color. So you guys are gonna make a vertex color like so. Vertex color, place it whatever you want, and you're gonna grab this red one, the red node, and you're gonna place it into the alpha. And basically, depending on the vertex color value of the red output, you're gonna get the base color of whichever of the two or the blend in between, right? So for now, don't worry about these other lerps. That's just for the other material stuff. If you're gonna use, well, like once you put the materials for the values, basically when you're gonna do the values of your materials, you're basically doing the same thing. Just make another lerp and grab the metallic of one one of your first material, and then the second one over here, and then use the same vertex color and put it in alpha. And also, if one of your materials does not have like a place for the metallic, for example, like one grass has metallic, another one doesn't, just put the default value like a 0.0. So you guys should have this material set up as the procedural biome blend. Basically, you guys just make the new material, and pretty sure you guys should have something like this too. And then you guys can go back into your chunk blueprint, and you guys are gonna make a variable called vertex colors. Vertex colors should be a linear color array. So you guys just choose this one right here, make sure it's an array, and you're gonna have a biome scale float. This is basically gonna determine how big the biome is gonna be. So chunk biome scale, you see we have a very low number. This is because it can get pretty messy if we put this like a higher value. So if we put 0.01, I mean, we get like a smaller biome, right? Don't worry about those errors. That does not have to do anything. That's just because I'm pressing this instead of actually being there. So that's what happens if I have 0.01. If I were to decrease this even more, then we have a bigger biomes, right? And this is also good because you're increasing the kind of the blend threshold. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. So let's put this value like so, just like we had it before, right? Okay, so back in our chunk blueprint, after we made that, we're gonna go into our create vertices node. So I'm pretty sure you guys remember this part that we did in TTS's tutorial. I added these two as well. So after your calculate coordinates and you add it to the UV0, you're gonna set the normalized noise with the following, right? So let me go to the back. You're gonna grab the variable, the local variable x. Sorry, by the way, make another variable called normalized noise float. So we're gonna go x, we're gonna add it with 0.1, and then we're gonna multiply by vertex distance, and then we're gonna add it with the world location, the x value of the world location of the procedural mesh, and then we're gonna multiply it by the biome scale. Then we're gonna get the noise 2D of both of these, and we're gonna use one of the noises that we set it up. So for instance, in my landscape, I made sure that this noise parameter is used for the biome scale, so you guys can copy these values. And we're getting that index of the noise map that we're using. We're getting both of these, so basically do the same thing for y, just, you know, y plus 0.1 times vertex distance plus the y value of the world location of procedural mesh times the biome scale, plug it in the get noise 2D, and then you're going to multiply it by 0.5, then add it by 0.5, and then we're gonna use map range clamp to determine our threshold of our biome blending. So how does that work, right? What we're basically saying here is that depending on the value of the noise 2D, if it's less than 0.45, then it's gonna automatically make it into 0. If the value is more than 0.55, it's gonna consider it 1. So what's basically going on is that in this part, I'm setting up like a small threshold. So I'm giving it little space for a blend. If we were to give it more blend, it would look like this. Let me show you. 0.6. So I'm giving it a bigger threshold, so a bigger blend. It's gonna look like this. Right. The only problem with this, guys, is that it's gonna look weird in your world, because you don't want to have like a point here, like have a little bit of the other biome. Usually in Minecraft, it's just your good like part of the biome, and then once we go into another biome, we basically have no blend. But since we're doing this in a 3D world, like using meshes and stuff, like no cubes and stuff, we obviously want to have like a little blend so it looks more realistic. But we cannot have a lot of blend unless you're using another type of noise map, like the Voronoi, which should look something like this. Let me show you. There we go. So this is kind of how a Voronoi map looks. Basically, it looks like a bunch of pentagons, you know, those weird shapes, and then that's kind of like the map shapes itself, right? In my case, right now I'm using Perlin noise, just Perlin, not Voronoi. And you guys can choose whichever you want. You know, you can kind of toy around with the values of the landscape, but this is the one I have, and this is what I'm showing you. All right. We don't have Voronoi here because we're using the kind of like the noise generator from Unreal Engine, which is free. So at least we have a per noise generator, you know. So going back in here, that's why I set up a small blend threshold, so it looks more like biomes. Yes, we have these little sections over here, but guys can figure out. So then after we get the value from this map range clamp, we're gonna set normalized noise with that value, and then we're gonna go ahead and make a linear color. So yeah, make linear color, this node right here, and then we're gonna plug it into red since we're using the red channel. A is gonna be 1.0 as the alpha because obviously we want this to be visible, and we're gonna add it into the vertex colors array. I also made this chunk biome scale float, and then in this section over here, which we like declaring it for the chunk, you guys should have set biome scale of the chunk biome scale into the chunk. What is this doing is just depending on what value is this to apply it to each chunk, so we can like adjust it in the editor, that we won't have to go into the blueprint and change it every time. And yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial, guys. If you enjoyed it, and I apologize if some parts of this video were hard to follow with, just let me know in the comments or in the Discord server of Fetus. If you have any questions or concerns, I'll be there. And that is how you make biomes. One more thing, if you want me to make a video on how to make foliage depending on the biome, make sure to show support. Let me know if you guys really want me to make the video about it, and I will guide you through it. Alright, take care.